Hello everyone, before we get started with XRP, may I just say a few words? Aren't you all completely worn out from the commotion over tariffs, considering that I am now totally over it? This is what consistently occurs. When the word tariffs is merely mentioned in a whisper, Bitcoin suddenly plummets. Naturally, everything else is affected when Bitcoin declines. Classic domino effect, right? Thus, in the process of recording this, I am actually keeping an eye on XRP to see where it will go. It is currently at $2.68 if you pull up the one-day chart with me. Just recently, Bitcoin was soaring through all-time highs left and right, and the market was looking fantastic. Honestly, I was positive that was it. The last push prior to the major ascent. However, no. As the tariffs return, Bitcoin is knocked off its pedestal, and the market as a whole naturally collapses along with it. And you know what? The crypto world isn't even able to contain this catastrophe. Additionally, the stock market is losing ground. I'll get into all that tasty stuff later in the video. This is what transpired. Following President Trump's shocking paragraph against China, markets are completely collapsing. He claims to be calculating the numbers for higher taxes on Chinese goods. But hold on, things get better. Additionally, he claims that meeting with Chinese President Xi is now completely pointless. In a moment, I will display the entire post on your screen for you to peruse. Come on though. We are all familiar with the playbook by now, that the market completely collapses if tariffs are brought up. It is similar to clockwork, not to mention the events that occurred just a week earlier. Suddenly, Eric Trump tells everyone, hey guys, now is the perfect time to buy that dip. Do you recall that small gem? Grab some cryptocurrency, advised Eric Trump, and see what happens with the chart. Continued to descend like a water slide. There is no longer any denial that this is textbook market manipulation. Really, look through the cryptocurrency. Every single individual on Twitter is saying the same thing for 2 seconds. Both short and long positions have been liquidated. Pure manipulation that will very likely continue until such rate decreases materialize. Don't be the fool who falls for this circus, is my counsel. Park yourself on the sidelines, take some popcorn, and basically treat the market like your personal ATM. Use it only if you really want to increase your coin stack. Even though it's coin season, you essentially have 2 choices on days like today. You can choose to buy the dip, or just sit there doing nothing at all, and I have something to tell you now. At some point in the future you will reflect on today, and ask yourself, why didn't I pull the trigger on that dip? I've been there. When the whole Ripple versus SEC situation started in 2021, I was killing myself for not loading up much more in 2020. This occurred just prior to XRP's meteoric rise to $1.92. And to be honest, the entire run was agonizing, because XRP was removed from almost all of the big exchanges due to the recent SEC case. This is what we all do. When we reflect on such moments of opportunity, we see that we just let them pass us by. Here's the thing though, now here is your chance. I hope you've worked out how the entire game works by now. Thus, some false tariff news that practically no one will remember by tomorrow has hurt Bitcoin and the other altcoins. I promise you that this market is recovering. You will see how quickly things get back on track the moment we hit the bottom, and suddenly everyone is excited about cryptocurrency once more. However, I completely understand how frustrating today is. Right now, we're all feeling devastated. I've never seen a cycle as crazy as this one, really. Every time we start to feel happy, something unexpected happens, pulls us back down, and restarts the cycle. We seem to be caught in this never-ending cycle, don't we? That's what your screen is showing you. But here's the thing, the market is simply doing as the market does. When Trump drops a bombshell of tariffs, the market collapses, then it crashes again, and another one hits. And now we've got this latest one. But hold on, what always follows? The market simply erupts again. Examine the chart, right there you can see it 3 times. It will do it once more. This is precisely the reason you don't panic, sell on those red days. I'm telling you, the moment everything returns to normal, you will be really happy. In other words, $1.2 trillion simply disappeared from the stock market today, and crypto. Man, thoughts and prayers. But crypto wasn't the only thing that suffered. The stock market also took a beating. Almost everything was red, with the exception of a few equities that managed to survive. Regarding this XRP price forecast, they are currently dissecting the price movement of Ripple. Are you interested in what they have to say? Thus, while they acknowledge that the fall occurred, they continue to want a rally to $4 or above. After we bottom out of this decline, that move might begin. What do you know? This could be the time that XRP finally starts its huge breakout, in my opinion. Here's why I believe that there are still some significant catalysts in the works for XRP. All of us are currently just waiting for the government to resume operations. However, my intuition tells me that they will definitely expedite those ETFs once that door opens. These XRP spot ETFs may start far more quickly than anyone had anticipated. You best start setting yourself for it. Are you curious about what I believe goes on behind the scenes? Yes, the whales are undoubtedly piling at the moment. They're consuming as much of this dip as they can, because they want to lock in the lowest entry before the next wave comes. You can sure that institutions are doing the exact same thing. What is the upcoming wave? The next planned rocket fuel for XRP is the ETFs, my friend. And this October break is shaping up rather nicely if you ask me. This is what I'm keeping a careful eye on right now. We'll be successful as long as we close above that bottom blue ascending trend line at $2.65. Every time we test these lows, I keep pounding home this concept. Here we are merely verifying strong support. A swiftly falling wick. I'm not at all stressed out by that. Do you want to know what would truly delight me? Things start to become interesting when you see a pin bar candle or one of those bullish hammer candles that are seen in textbooks forming. These patterns are screaming significant purchasing interest, and that could signal we're gearing up for an upward advance. However, we must wait to see how the market concludes today. Boom! Everything is still looking fantastic for that upward momentum if we land a gorgeous candle close. This is where it becomes complex though. We may be facing much lower prices if we fall below $2 or settle below $2.65. You may see what I mean by just looking at YG's chart right here. So let's sit tight and observe how this unfolds for the rest of the day. And check this out. Brian Armstrong just made an extremely forceful remark. We will not tolerate this at all, he says. This proposal is awful. Without sugarcoating it, innovation would be stifled, and America's chances of being the global center of cryptocurrency would be eliminated. But notice, legislation takes time. They are committed to working with Congress to assist them perfect this process. They're not giving up on defending economic freedom and standing up for your rights. Additionally, the Blockchain Association recently voiced their frustration. Senate Democrats' proposal will essentially destroy wallet development, decentralized finance, and a host of other applications here in the United States. That is an unsatisfactory result that contradicts the values of American invention. This is now written in a way that is absolutely impossible to follow. And when you make it impossible, you know what happens. All the responsible companies and excellent actors will just say, forget this and go overseas. The exact opposite of what we need at the moment is that, therefore we are advising our legislators to stay at the table, continue the conversation, work together, despite your divergent opinions, and ensure that this initiative bolsters rather than undermines our fintech leadership. This is merely the second crypto crackdown that we are now witnessing. At a time when we most need innovation, they are still actively working to drive it out of America. Listen, we're not requesting preferential treatment, just level the playing field for us. It's game over as soon as we have some real regulatory clarity. At last, the actual worth of these utility-based cryptocurrencies will be exposed. However, the Clarity Act is in effect. It must occur. Crypto is no longer the only topic here. This is an area of national security. There is even another compelling reason why this must be approved. Check out what she's saying right here. It seems that they may just return the entire matter to the authorities. Take a listen. You know, with regulators now exercising their authority for the greater good, one could wonder if we really need a market structure bill. Or you know that's a joke, but they're using their authority to suggest that we might not need a bill on market structure after all. Perhaps we have permission, which has been Polikon's stance, I believe. The fact that we lack the law, and what we do have in the courts, you know, Ripple being a split decision, is what Jason highlighted in stark contrast.